Cobra Kai. You see it. Karate chop to the neck. All right, so like I told you guys before, I've been reading this new series written by Keanu Reeves called BRZRKR. I've been thoroughly enjoying it. The story isn't just blood and guts, as I've come to realize, which is really cool. You know, even though that is probably, I mean, that's why I bought it in the first place. I knew there was going to be a lot of action, a lot of blood, and all that. But the comic is beginning to open up the dialogue. Tough questions that were asked and not answered early on are starting to, get answers, and it's nice to see the growth of certain characters. If you want battles and war, this is a series for you. And there's also like a heavy sci-fi undertone. It feels as though it's just surfacing. Issue 4 just stopped at a cliffhanger. And I think the bigger baddies, or at least the big brains behind this operation, will begin to reveal themselves both willingly and unwillingly. So, like the trailer of Berserker says, this ancient warrior is looking for answers. He wants to know who he truly is and where he belongs. For centuries, no one has come close to figuring out those questions. But now the ancient warrior may finally get the answers he's been wanting by joining forces with the U.S. government while doing their bidding militarily, while scientists work to solve the question of his existence, essentially.
Hi, I'm Keanu Reeves. I'm excited to introduce you to BRZRKR, a new comic book epic I've created alongside some incredible talents that is available now at comic shops everywhere.
Okay, just to piggyback on prior thoughts, we don't really have a bad guy for this series thus far. He's been doing covert operations. Well, the main character has, that usually requires a whole lot of discretion, um, and that makes me believe when the actual villain is brought forth, the baddie will have some type of way to deal with the berserker character, because seemingly this guy is kind of indestructible, um, which is awesome in itself. I keep thinking of like I said in the last video, I think of like a John Wick. If John Wick was immortal and just had all the weapons at his disposal like he usually does, but also backed by the government, like it's crazy. So I think there's gonna be a lot that's revealed in this uh, next issue. I think issue 5 is really gonna blow the lid off, because there's 12, and usually like you get to the mid, with an issue that long, when you get to that mid area, the middle of it, it gets kind of hairy. So I think I'm really gonna like what happens next, because they've been alluding about a lot of scientific things that may be going on, especially with Berserker's character, you know, basically being indestructible, and them, scientists working on him, and who knows what they've been doing with samples and things of that nature. So I think they may, there may be some type of, mutations going on or something like that. I really like that aspect too, man. It was really in the background, honestly. It was mostly just a lot of him being a soldier and fighting, and I'm not trying to tell the whole story, but I mean he kicks a lot of ass in this, so it's kind of, I feel like it's self-explanatory. But um, yeah, man, they haven't really given us a clear bad guy, which is pretty cool, because they're just getting into the story. They're doing a lot of exposition, kind of digging up the pieces from his past, and there's a lot to pull from. I mean, they don't say how old this. Well, no, actually, they do say how old this character is, but I won't tell you guys. But with just that amount of time that's passed through this character's life, they can really touch on a lot of things. They can show a lot of scenes. The scenes have been really cool, man. I really like the artwork. It's kind of like it's not like super pristine artwork, I would say, but I like this style. It's very physical. It's very brutal, and for me, I really like how it seems like there's more scenery than there is actual dialogue, which is kind of how I like which is kind of how I like my movies, and surprisingly, that's how I like my comics. I like pictures. I don't like the pictures to be just spread with all these words and all this talking. Sometimes you can kind of figure where the story's going for yourself, just looking at how, the characters are interacting with each other physically. So that's an aspect right there. Just went on a rant, but yeah, man, I think this is gonna be pretty good. I took my time. I took my time reading issue 1 and 2 just to get rehashed, and 3 and 4 I kind of just sped through that, and I'm gonna read those again just to see if I can find something that I may have missed. But all in all, with 4 issues out of 12 so far, I give this series an 8.5 out of 10, and I'm super interested, and I want to see what happens going forward. Y'all take care.